Hey, what's up, guys? I decided to make this video to give you guys some information and knowledge about investing in precious metals, specifically gold and silver. Some of the reasons why I suggest you not only research it yourself, but understand the dynamics, the things that move these values, and why it makes sense for you to do so. Okay, so typically people who have saved some money, have the ability to put some money on the side, either do one of two things. They either put it in the stock market or they put it into some kind of IRAs, some kind of trusts. Okay? The other portion of people, the remaining portion, usually just leave it in the bank. They have it parked in the bank. Okay? So what happens when you put your money in the bank? Any deposits that the bank takes in, there is something called fractional reserve lending, which the government authorizes these banks to lend out tenfold. So 10 times per every dollar that they receive as a deposit, they're legally permitted to lend out and charge interest on. Okay? So you put $10,000 in the bank, that gives that bank the ability to lend out $100,000 against your money. And your money is also lent out. It's not actually there. I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but I have many times where I've gone to banks and needed to pull out whatever it is, a couple $1,000s up to $100,000, and they never have it. They don't have the physical cash on hand, and it's because they're lending it all out and they're earning money and good returns on your money. However, you yourself are not getting anything. You're getting a tiny, tiny fraction of a percent of a return on your deposited money. So it's doing you no good at all. What it's also doing by being parked there and being held in the form of cash currency is you are subject to any economic downturn, any hit that the currency, the US dollar, may take as a result of recession, act of war, many other factors. You're going to be screwed because your investment, your savings is just going to depreciate in value. Okay? So what I like to advise people to do is, in researching the gold and silver option, understand that also most people don't take physical possession of it. So what they do is they invest in the stock market in, for example, tick symbol GLD or SLV for gold and silver. So they actually buy paper value of gold and silver, but they don't take actual physical possession. The reason why I think that's a foolish idea is because, again, should something happen, okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I like to be prepared for any outcome that may come. Should something very significant happen financially, economically to this country, you are going to be screwed because those GLD, SLV paper tickets that you owned are so far over leveraged versus what physical gold that company, the holding company, actually has. Okay, meaning that they have sold, for example, $100 million of gold, let's say, in the form of stocks. They actually own only $5 million of it. These are just bullshit numbers. They're much, much larger. But the point that I'm trying to show you guys is, if only a fraction, let's say 3 to 5% of those GLD, SLV paper stock holders put in a call to take physical possession, their entire fucking scam would collapse. It's basically a Ponzi scheme. They're taking money from one person and replenishing the next. But if people actually wanted to see their gold that they own on paper, it would be a big problem because it doesn't exist. So as far as safeguarding your wealth or a hedge against, disastrous possibilities, having it in that form is nothing. You're never going to be able to get it. You need to have it in physical form yourself that you have possession of, physically, that you can grab and touch and do whatever you want with at any time. Anytime you have to run to any financial institution to cash out, you are not prepared for some disaster or something real bad happening to our economy. Because you will not, you among thousands of others will be standing there like assholes at the bank begging for your money back, and you'll not get it back. It's not there. Likewise with the stocks, okay, with owning those tick symbols. So, going further now into some of the reasons why I would suggest you invest in these two metals. Silver more so than gold, but I'll get into that later. So, just charting back a couple years, okay, I came into this business in 2009, all right? I was basically a diamond guy. Came out of the diamond district, That was my field of expertise. I wasn't into the metals aspect. However, I saw a great opportunity in the gold prices becoming very bullish, and in that bullish run, there was a lot of activity, a lot of noise about buying and selling gold. There were TV advertisements all over the place, and just one day, just out of curiosity alone, I decided to go and check, okay, within like a 10-mile radius, all of the local buyers of gold and silver. And I took some gold there, and obviously I knew what it was worth, and I just offered it to them, asked them how much they pay me, and thanked them, went back to my car and made notes. I went home that day after this whole afternoon, and I was amazed to see that the best offer I had was roughly 50% on the dollar. So they were ripping people off. Okay, the public who was selling gold was getting robbed. So I realized then that if I could find myself a highway location with a lot of visibility, where the numbers make sense, I could structure things in a way where my overhead is not going to kill me, I am going to venture into this business, and I am going to provide that service and fill that gap and treat people very fairly and destroy the competition. And that's what happened. So I've been here for some time now. I'm very fortunate, but that's getting away from the point here, guys. What I wanted to say was, in 2009, when I saw those numbers starting to go up, as an example, silver was roughly $16, $17 per ounce, all right? Gold was roughly $950 to $1,000 per ounce. There was a very strong run in these metals, okay? They both hit all-time historic highs in November of 2011, at which point I cashed out everything in both, all right? So in that year, gold hit $1,950 per ounce, almost $2,000 an ounce. So it doubled in just a 2-year, 3-year period, all right? Silver did even better. Silver even outperformed that. Silver went from like $17 to $48.50, almost $50 an ounce, okay? So it's triple nearly. And the reason I said earlier that silver is a better play is because if you just chart back based on those historic high values, and as an example, I buy in today $100,000 of silver. You buy in today $100,000 of gold. Okay, gold is roughly $1,200 an ounce right now. Silver is roughly $16 an ounce. If we both went in on that 100 grand and both gold and silver retraced their way back to those historic highs of November 11, my position will have far outperformed yours percentage-wise. And that's all that matters. Okay, all that matters is what's going to give me the best opportunity to make a profit and make more money. So for the small investor, the guy who's not very strong in his position, silver is a better play. All right, so if you're not a very heavy hitter, I would suggest silver for you. All right, and you can buy it in all forms. You can buy it in the form of bars, coins, even scrap jewelry, junk silver, what they called silver coins. Up until 1964, United States issued coins that were 90% silver. They include full dollars, half dollars, quarters, and dimes. A lot of people don't know that, so that has value far more than actual face value. Okay. However form you keep it in, it doesn't matter. What's important is you buy very close to the spot price. The spot price is a number that's issued each trading day, every day of business, where everywhere in the world acknowledges those values for both gold and silver. Make sure you understand that when you buy from some mints, some of the places you see advertised on TV, they are going to require you to pay a mandatory insurance, okay, and a mandatory shipping fee, where when you factor those in, you have basically, you're way higher than where you would be if you actually went into a local vendor such as myself and just dealt in hand, COD, okay? So going back to what I was saying, the reason why, okay, at that time, gold and silver were basically positioned to continue going up. They should have kept going up much, much, much more. But something happened that no one could have ever foreseen. And what that was the United States government understood what was happening and how fragile their economy was at that time. Remember, this is when they had the mortgage meltdown and the housing crisis and the bank crisis and all this. So they did something that no one ever would have believed possible in the United States, okay? They did these bank bailouts where they basically injected capital and became partners with private institutions where they saved these banks who fucked everybody over and got rich in the meantime and gave them billions of dollars, all right? In addition to that, they did something called quantitative easing. There were 4 rounds. They call it QE 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what that was an injection of artificial capital. Okay, the United States currency, the dollar, is a fiat capital. Fiat is the term that refers to a money that is not backed by anything. Okay, at one time, this nation was on something called the gold standard, where for every dollar minted, every dollar printed out, there had to be the backed up gold to ensure that the currency remained strong and wasn't undervalued. All right, so we have long been off that gold standard, and what that means is they can print whatever money they want. When they did this quantitative easing, they started printing and injecting $80 billion a month. They did this for years into the economy, funneling it through financial institutions, banks. Basically, the whole story they told the public was, we're going to do this to save the economy, and the banks and institutions are then going to start, funneling this money out into the public in the form of loans and business loans and such, financial aid, whatever. It never happened. It was bullshit. But there's a major consequence to them printing that money so recklessly, which has not yet manifested. Basically, since that time, our stock market, our economy, all of our economic reports have been artificially held, all right? It's bullshit. It's not a true market right now because of all that crap that they did. So anyone can agree that there has to be a consequence to printing up more of that money like that on such a massive scale. The more of anything that there is, including gold and silver, available, the lower the value of that would be. All right? So the results of that and the consequence of that are coming. And when they do come, when these markets are actually allowed to reset as they should have been many years ago, the government never should have done any of this crap. When that happens, there is going to be a very significant economic downturn. And the people that have their savings in the form of U.S. currency are going to be fucked. The people who are all in on the stock market are going to be fucked. Just like that. When it hits, it's going to hit so hard, you're not going to have reaction time, and you're going to be screwed. You and your family are going to be screwed. So the only hedge against that, okay, is to invest in a global currency, which both gold and silver are. Gold is the oldest form of currency that we have historically, okay? It will never go out of style. It will never not have a significant value. And if what I am projecting actually does happen, not if, when, all right? Gold and silver both are going to move up very, very significantly. All right. Historically speaking, there's a gold-silver ratio where they move in conjunction with each other. But in addition, gold and silver and the U.S. currency, the dollar, are polar opposites. Meaning, if the dollar strengthens, those metals weaken in value. And likewise, when the dollar gets weaker, these things are going to get a lot stronger. So, in my opinion, I do feel that there is a very, very significant market adjustment coming soon. All right. So the wisest thing, based on all these things I've explained to you, and there's so much more to it also that I'm not going to get into here. I can speak for hours on this. The wisest play is to offset some of that risk by investing in these physical precious metals and taking possession of them. All right? There's a lot more I can go on about this, guys. If you have any specific requests that you want me to touch on videos, please do comment and also share your feedback. I'm interested. I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial expert. The truth is I'm uneducated. I didn't even make it to high school. These are all things that I've learned based on my own experience and observation. So please do share, and I hope you like this video. Thanks.